Shortly after I recorded my review, the GPU on my iMac went out. This is a common failure of this particular model, where the display and backlight go out and the machine will still run. So when the machine went to sleep, the backlight wouldn't come on, music would still play in the background, I can't see anything. I did manage to, before it went, I upgraded to a 1TB drive, and in the video I have two 4GB modules. Right now, because the GPU is not working, it's rejecting any 4GB modules I'm putting in. It refuses to boot, so I only have 2 gigs installed. So I'm assuming it's either the speed of the RAM or the GPU. And it is currently in target disk mode at the moment. So it is running, it's just on my MacBook instead, as I do my first edited video of my life. You guys let me know if you like the editing. I have absolutely no skill with editing. And to make me upset is my external Mac drive failed. It didn't fail. It's saying it's full, but it's showing all the folders as empty. So I lost a good chunk of my Mac software. No Final Cut, no Office. Y'all find that again. I gotta repay for Final Cut. Anyway, let's commence on with the video review. Don't you just love it when Apple keeps the word about simplicity? Today, I am talking about the new iMac I had just acquired, as of yesterday. Not the one on your right, the one on the left. This here in front of you is a 20-inch mid-2007 iMac. It was introduced in August of 2007 and discontinued in April of 2008. So this machine, there were multiple variations of it. It was actually, I think it was really, this form factor was discontinued in 2009 from what I've read online. But its iterations continued. It originally shipped with, which mine was original, it shipped with a 500 gig hard drive. That was the built to order, and it shipped with 1 gig of RAM. 1 gig of RAM! Snow Leopard struggled on that. Oh my god, can you see the dust in the picture? Probably. Let me go grab my lovely sock real quick. I can see the dust behind this thing. The Super Drive here, it has a Super Drive 8X, Super Drive with the 4X double layer burning. All my Macs so far, my MacBooks, all have a Super Drive, excluding my iBook. The processor, this is the 2.4 gigahertz model. If you can see the keyboard, it does need a cleaning. Now, this machine, let me talk a little bit about the background of how I got it here. I received this as a reward for doing my aunt's yard and helping them around the house. They have twins, and they really need a gardener, and they don't have the money. So I said, you know, they first told me about the iMac before they said anything about yard work. So I go, oh, I can help you with that. And then they told me, and I go, oh yeah, I'll help you. I'm still going to help them because their yard really needs help, and there's a lot of, I feel like a contractor when I go there. Anyway, so as a kind of a reward-ish, I got this machine. My uncle said it overheats, and the fans kick in after about 15 minutes to full speed, and after 20 minutes it kernel panics. I solved the kernel panic issue. The OS was very, very corrupt. It was running Leopard, and it was just files everywhere. The machine, wouldn't boot properly. The thermal, I took this whole thing apart, and I blew it out with compressed air. The fan still kicks in all the way. So, to fix that, my next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this all apart, take out everything, including the logic board, and reapply new thermal paste. It's probably not going to help because I got 2 cats. Why, hello, sir. He's in the doorway. So, and another thing, when you're pulling these machines apart, you want to lay it down with the Apple logo facing the wall, or the foot. And you want to do is you want to put a suction cup here and here. I've read some stories about people putting it dead center or using their nails. You want to do is you want to pull it straight. Don't pull it in an angle because there's guiding pins. I didn't break any of them, but I did pull this apart. That I didn't capture on my cleaning video, which I will probably squeeze in this video, possibly. Anyway, the machine, I do not have the original copy of, get this, this machine, because it was introduced in mid-2007, the same as my first MacBook, it was supposed to run Tiger. Unfortunately, my install, because I found it online, and it was for my MacBook, is incompatible. And the other one I found from Macintosh Garden doesn't see it as a boot disk, so I booted off of the Leopard install disk, went into disk utility, put my MacBook running Tiger into target disk mode, plugged it into this, and then restored my MacBook's hard drive onto this one. So this has my image of my MacBook on it. Hold on, I need a bit of water. Anyway, enough with that. This machine also introduced the new thin MacBook, or iMac keyboard with the 2 USBs. It was advertised as having 5 ports total, 3 on the machine, 2 on the keyboard. Let me talk about ports a bit. If I can actually rotate this machine. This thing is very awkward. So on the back we have, if you can actually see this, let me bring the camera in a little closer. And then let me turn on my room light so you can actually see the ports properly. Kill this for a second. So that might help with the visual. So we have here is we have headphone. Look at that. Something most devices don't come with. I'm just kidding. Let me stir a little bit of controversy about the headphones. Even though Apple has discontinued it, thousands and thousands of devices aren't just going to go and axe the headphones, because I got tons and tons of stuff, including audio equipment, that actually has a headphone port. It's just Apple doing their thing. This machine also has a microphone in, the 3 USBs. It's also got FireWire 400 and FireWire 800. Thus, I was able to do target disk mode because of the 400 port. It's also got a Ethernet port and display out. What's nice about this machine is it has built-in Wi-Fi. So you can see what I said about the simplicity was 1 cord. All I need is power and the keyboard. You don't need anything else. Well, my camera works. So all you see is the one cable, the power cable and the keyboard. That is all you need plugged in for this thing to do, for you to be able to use this machine. Just like the iMac G3, it has continued its tradition, and it still continues it today with the newer iMacs, even though they are now, most peripherals are wireless. I don't know, can you? I think you can order the wired keyboard and mouse, I would assume. You should be able to. Anyway, let's go ahead and return the lighting back to the way it was, because I kind of like the dark tone of the 80s vibe, I guess. I want to call it the 80s vibe. Okay, I thought that was going to turn back on. There we go, back to the way it was, excuse me. No, almost. Let me try to get this back in, push the cord back in. The one thing I don't like about this, white cables. The keyboard needs a really good scrubbing. This is just... Oh, another thing, my mom's school still uses these to this day. The last I've been there was about 1.5 years ago, so I'm a little bit off. But these machines are still in use. I think they are the educational models. They are all running 10.6. Now, 10.6 is now really, really unsupported, and they're probably still using it due to a lot of the educational programs not being updated. Let me tell a bit of backstory. The school still uses wooden desks and chairs. They are just getting plastic chairs as of about 6 months ago, I think my mom told me. But yeah, their school it's old. My mom's classroom's in a portable. Whole different story for a whole nother day. But they still use these machines, and I would always scare my mom every time I bring in my I would bring in my external hard drive, and I would plug it in, and I would boot off of the hard drive, because 10.6 is so old. Not only that, but any security software on a Mac you can bypass by booting off another drive. Simple as that. So, not saying anyone should steal any Macs here, but I'm saying if it were stolen, all you have to do is boot off another drive. Even if it's encrypted. Not endorsing stealing or theft. I'm just saying. Because it bypasses security, so like if there's tracking software, I'm able to... Anyway, let's go back to the machine. So, I just received this machine about 2 days ago. I've completely cleaned it out with compressed air. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Yeah, if you hear slight rattling, that's my blinds. They drive me insane. As you can see, it is running 10.4.11, or Mac OS X Tiger, as it's called. That was a journey to get that back on here. That makes me happy because this machine, now I know, because I've seen on eBay, it can run Tiger, Leopard, Snow Leopard, Lion, Mountain Lion, Mavericks, Yosemite, and El Capitan. That is 8 operating systems. Now if I upgrade the processor to a higher, I think, spec, I can run Sierra and High Sierra and then possibly Mojave. That's for another day, because the processor in this thing is in a ZIF socket. That's what I've read, so that means I can change it out, which is nice. This is a machine that is upgradable. Now, if anyone hasn't noticed, if I click about, the cat's probably going to get on the desk here. If I zoom in, I don't know about the quality about the zoom in. This machine, if you can't see on screen already, has 8 gigs of RAM. Surprisingly, even if it says unofficially supports 6, I have 2 4s, or 2, grab a memory thing. I have 2 4 gig RAM sticks. Oh, hold on, I keep forgetting to change the zoom. I have 2 of these, so they're both 2 4s. This is a 1. This is the original memory I pulled out of it. You want in the window, don't you? Alright, I'm gonna have to ruin the effect, because the cat wants in the window. You really want in the window, get in that one, because that one just shuts itself. Go down, go, get in the window. I also kill the light. Darn you, cat! Trying to go a little bit more script-wise, in a sense. But anyway, and another plus, if I can find a disc floating around, which I don't think I have one on me physically. This is warped. When did you get in the window since you want it in? Here, I'll just put in this Half-Life game that I found off the web archive. If you can hear that, the optical drive is still working, which is fantastic. So I'm not taking the optical drive out of this machine, and I will be using that optical drive probably to burn more Mac software. I decided to... Dude, the window is open right there. Are you blind? Oh, kitty. Don't blow up my back now. There. It's open. Yelling at the cat's making me thirsty. But yeah, you can see it's working fine, the keyboard and mouse. It also ejects just fine. Comes out, works fine. I've seen some funny videos where the disc actually falls out. This one does not have that issue, which is a good thing. Are you getting up, or... I'm sorry, I gotta talk to the cat in the middle of my video. It's hard to record things here. So, this machine... What else am I gonna talk about? I want to make it a 15. I like to make my videos like 30 minutes or 30 plus minutes, because I like to babble on about things. I like to it's kind of like a vlog review update, kind of a compilation of a lot of different, I'm going to say, genres of video compressed into one like mine. But yeah, this thing has, there was actually a lower tier that had a, I think it was a 250 gig hard drive with 128 megs of video memory. What are you doing? Probably have to go find plastic again. More info. But it is a iMac 7,1. We have 2.4 gigahertz Intel Core 2 Duo, 1 processor, 2 cores, 4 megabytes of L2 cache, 8 gigs of RAM, bus speed of 800 megahertz. What'd you find? Piece of paper. I don't care if it eats that. The ATA, we have DVD. Audio is working. The Bluetooth is working. Which means this machine I will probably now be using for a lot of stuff. It's also, I found on Snowpad, really good for video editing. So my plans is I'm going to take, I don't think I have enough money, but I really want to do is buy a 2 terabyte hard drive. The only problem is I don't think Tiger can see 2 terabytes, let alone 1. I tried installing Tiger, I think, on my MacBook with a 750 gig drive, and that didn't work. So if I were to go above, I think 500 gigs, I will be sacrificing Tiger. So that means I'll have 7 operating systems, the same amount as my MacBook would. Because my aluminum MacBook supports Leopards and Leopard Lion, Mountain Lion, Mavericks, Yosemite, and El Capitan. And then I patch Sierra, High Sierra, and Mojave onto it. I'm having issues with High Sierra at the moment. But yeah, 1 terabyte and 10 operating systems, not enough space. It's not even 100 gigs per. What are you finding to eat? Are you cat number 1 or cat number 2? Are you going to get on the desk too? Oops, I forgot the glass is sticking out way too far. Let me push that back a touch. So yeah, that's this machine. What else? I love the Apple mouse. This is kind of nice. The roller on this one has a bit of issues. It does kind of come and go when it works. But you can see that it does scroll up and down, which is nice. The speakers, also, the speakers are really great. Apparently Apple's speakers front panel designed to bounce sound off the desk works really well. And I'm going to go ahead and read the tagline from Mac Tracker. The tagline was, "You can't be too thin or too powerful." Which is quite true. The 2.4 gigahertz is plenty for me. At least for now. You can probably now hear the fan just starting to kick in. So let's see what else it's got. It has the 20-inch viewable glossy widescreen. Hey, don't eat those! Don't eat that. Get off that. Don't eat screws. Can't leave anything near these cats, I swear. So you find cleaning cat hair out of this. What else? You have, the 6 gigabytes of memory, 6 gigabytes actual, 4 gigabytes Apple. Well, I've got 8. So, do we rephrase this? Does anyone know how to tell? Oh, the camera cord is going to shake a bit. The cat's rubbing on it. But yeah, the original Mac OS was 10.4.10. The later OS was 10.5. Or 10.5.2, and the maximum was 10.11.6. It included iLife 08, included iTunes and iWork 08 30-day trial. It included an Apple remote. That is what I am missing. The IR blaster is right above the Apple logo, just right there. And then I do not have. I have the Apple keyboard with the numeric keypad and the Mighty Mouse. You hear the fan is kicking up. The machine isn't even doing anything. The fan should not be running. The air is actually coming out pretty. Not too hot right now. So yeah, the machine on the inside has 3 fans. It's got one for the main heatsink, which connects to the CPU and the GPU. From what I saw looking at it, I'll have to edit in a photo here. But it also has a fan for the optical drive and one for the hard drive. There are a total of 3. So the one fan kicking up is the main blower. It's a blower type fan. I think they both are, but it's the thickest. It's about, no, maybe not that thick. But it's the first one kicking up. And the airflow, what it does is it pulls air straight in from the bottom, goes through the heat sinks and then out. But then there's, get this, if you saw the slot on the top, it forces the air to go up to the top and out, back out that way, instead of it just kind of going out. Which I think kind of restricts a little bit of air. It's not terrible. I know I'm talking so much, I'm losing my... This also does not have auto brightness. And this iMac does not support AirDrop or advanced energy features or like low sleep or any of that. It doesn't support AirDrop, which is fine by me. I don't really use AirDrop that much. I use it to iPhone when I feel like it. Anyway, so my plans are to probably put in a 1 terabyte hard drive. The 500 will do for now. But you can see I don't have very much on here. It is the image of my MacBook. I would play music, but I don't want to get copyrighted. But most of the programs you see on my videos I get from either, it was oldapps.com, which is, it's still up, but none of the links work. It gives you errors. The other page is Macintosh Garden, or the third page is WinWorld. Not WineWorld, WinWRLD. For some reason, WinWorld decided to implement I think it was 30 downloads a day. It resets daily, or was it 10? Don't know why they implemented that. I find it dumb, but all I have to do is use another computer and I can download more. This also has Photo Booth. As you can see, this machine loads things fairly quickly. It does not have an SSD. Quality isn't terribly great. I mean, it's there. It's not perfect. Yeah, my mom's... I'm jumping everywhere. I have this nasty habit of jumping everywhere in my videos. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's my thought process. It's how it works. I think of something and then something else comes to mind and I start talking about that. This is why I annoy so many people when I talk about computers nonstop. I can't help it. It's part of my Asperger's. That's just part of the thing. It makes it difficult. I mean, I could talk about plants, but I don't do plants. All I do is this. I work on computers all day. I like to take them apart. So this will be my first time, after I decide to pull it all apart, it'll be my first time pulling an entire iMac completely apart. I did have another iMac G3, a slot load that was completely dead. You would hit the power button, the light would come on, and you would hear the CRT kind of kick in sometimes, but it wouldn't do anything. I decided, you know what, I want to get to the CRT and learn how to discharge it, but then I started seeing it cracking, and I'm like, we're done. Anyway. Yeah, this machine is pretty iconic. I mean, Apple still uses the same form factor minus this metal edge, which is very reminiscent of the iPhone, as it was referred to in, I think, every Mac. Maybe I should email them about the memory. Anyway, what I'll probably end up doing with this, because it can boot off so many operating systems, is I'm going to put in probably a 1 terabyte drive or 2, leave the 8 gigs of RAM in it. I don't know if I have it all the way open, I might also look for another processor as well and possibly upgrade it. I presume the price is really low at this point, and go from there. But this will probably be my main editing desktop. I mean, I put away all my gaming rig just for this one machine. I feel kind of betrayed on myself. How long is the video now? About 20 minutes in? Not too bad. Also, if you have noticed when new macOS installs, I have to refer to it as macOS now, is the dock looks almost identical, minus the sharp edges. So we went from flat, kind of skeuomorphic dock, to skeuomorphic dock on Leopard, Snowbird, Lion, Mountain Lion, and Mavericks, to then flat again. Kind of weird. But I always like Tiger because most of my machines can run close to it. What else can I talk about? I have everything imaged from it. I mean, what I'll probably end up doing is I'm running out of videos to talk about. I guess I'll compare it to my iMac G3. Talk about the similarities. Alright, I'll do that. I'll make that video. Anyway, hopefully I can get this uploaded. Now, browsing the web on this, these days, it's perfectly fine. Don't expect to watch YouTube or anything on 10.4. This is from 10.4. If you're running 10.11, you should be fine. I mean, let me phrase this. I've lived off a netbook for 5 years, which is right over here, which is in pieces, and it still won't die. I've lived off of this little Asus machine for like 5 years total. I actually took it apart because I needed the hard drive. But I lived off of this thing for 5 years. You can see the battle scars on it. Anyway, so a machine being slow is nothing new to me because I have so much patience Because my netbook, I would want to open Chrome and it would take 45 minutes. I'm not kidding. My machine was a custom-built cheap one. So originally it had 128 megs of RAM. And it had a 40 gig drive. Most netbooks came with a 160 gig with 1 gig of RAM. This machine was essentially they did was they took out anything of value to drop the value and put in cheaper parts. You can also see the rubberized texture. Anyway, this is not about this machine. But yeah, browsing the internet, FaceTiming, everything should work fine. And that should conclude my video. This optical mouse. I love how everything has Apple logoed. You can hear the fan is really kicking in. And I guess that concludes this. And thank you for watching.